I wonder why ladies of these days feel you can actually trap a man with pregnancy. Well, a lady screamed this out loud on social media, and trust netizens, they didn't find that interesting. They didn't find that funny. This and many others will be coming up later today on Trending. You know how we have juicy gist for you on Trending. Well, having this in mind, let me specially welcome you to Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. I am Mercy Irabo. You know what Viewpoint is all about. We start with the dailies, we go straight into the dialogue. The news comes around, and of course, trending. And you know we have juicy gist for you today. You need to stay tuned on Atlantic Media and TV. And of course, you can share your thoughts with us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. We need to take this quick break, and once we return, the dailies will be next.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Diving straight into the dailies, and for review this morning we have 6 papers. We have The Guardian, The Punch, The Daily Trust, Nigerian Tribune, This Day, and The Nation. And you know, for a start today, I would love to start with The Guardian newspaper. Let's see stories making it to the headlines of The Guardian newspaper. On The Guardian this morning, the lead story reads, 54 taxes charges account for 35% of airfare costs, stifle traffic demand. That's a major story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's take some more stories. Optimism as federal government anticipates Nigeria's exit from CPC list. Interesting story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's take a look at some federal government sets up panel on 4 trillion naira outstanding old contractors. We've been seeing the back and forth going on concerning the debts that the federal government still owes the contractors. But you can still read that story up on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Tinubu reaffirms police withdraw from VIPs, mobilizes security, livestock reforms. A major story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's take a look at some more major stories still at the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Kano lawyers petition Tinubu, the national security advisor, over parallel Sharia body. Is a story you would want to read on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. Nigeria's capital market losing $60 million to crypto and other visual assets. Business story on page 16, or rather page 15 of the Guardian newspaper. Ekiti spent 49.7 billion naira to build cargo airport, says Oyebanji. That story is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Human Rights Day 2025 concerns as Nigeria's worsening right crisis prompts calls for reform. A major story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Obasanjo tax leaders on stronger institutions for national development, a story you would want to read on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. The federal government arraigns Stella Odua, others on alleged 2.4 billion naira fraud. An interesting story still on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. Buhari will account for 2015 Zaria massacre on Judgment Days. Who is saying this? This is coming from El Zagzeki on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. And let's see what we have as the picture of the day this beautiful morning on the Guardian newspaper. Yeah, the picture of the day is just screaming the lead story: 54 taxes charges account for 35% of airfare cost, still full traffic demand. And now you get to wonder, why exactly are these fares going up? With the rate of insecurity going on in the country, one would expect that we'll get a slash in the cost of air flight tickets. But instead, it's on the rise, and then the common man can't afford it. And we still have cases of kidnappings and everything going on the highway. I think that this is one thing that the federal government needs to consider. Why should the prices of air flights go on the rise at this critical time? It's questions that we are putting out to the federal government of Nigeria. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what the Punch has for us this morning. On the Punch this morning, the lead story reads, a federal government pushes for 17.8 trillion naira new loans to finance 2026 budget. We have a rider to that. Borrowing jumps 72% as revenue dips by 8.67 trillion naira. Debt servicing to go up nearly half of 2026 earnings. A major and interesting story that I would have loved to talk about, but it's on page 2 because I keep wondering why we still keep getting loans, even when the federal government said we've met our revenue budget for the year. But we still keep getting loans, and then you wonder, what are the loans being used for? But maybe some answers to that questions will be on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Let's take a look at some more stories still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Tinubu tackles VIP police escort abuse, showing car for Sheyi's entourage on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. The federal government opens diplomatic talks with Burkina Faso over detained aircraft and soldiers. A major story which has been making headlines for quite some days now. You can still read up that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. PDP chaos. Wike Makinde forces revive war over INEX Nord. And kicker to that, 30 States Chairman NAS heavyweights rally behind Suraki's leadership. A major and interesting story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Let's see if we take some more stories still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. ECOWAS courts Nigeria tops countries ignoring judgments. A major and interesting story on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. Senate screens more ambassadorial nominees. Interesting story still on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. Let's still take some more stories even at the bottom as U.S. Congress panels talk tough over Nigeria IDP crisis. A major story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Alleged fraud. Ex-Minister Stella Odua arraigned barred from foreign trips. Very interesting story that you would want to read on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. Osun 2026, Adeleke confident of victory after Accord ticket win. When I actually saw Adeleke going to the Accord party, I was like, oh, maybe we were all expecting one party which most of the governors have been defecting to. But it means that Adeleke actually knows what he wants, and then he decided to go for the Accord party. Let's see if he makes it for the Osun 2026 Guba elections. But you can still read that story on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. Let's quickly take the picture of the day this morning on the Punch. That's the Chief Executive Officer of Polo, Mr. John, and Executive Director of Polo, Mrs. Jennifer, and President of the IMEA, Mr. Frank Joel, during Mr. Frank's official visits to Nigeria at Polo Luxury Boutique, King's Tower in Ikoyi, Lagos, and this happened very recently. That's all we're taking this morning on the Punch newspaper. Let's quickly see what the Nigerian Tribune has for us this morning. On the Nigerian Tribune this morning, the lead story reads, Tinubu insists on withdrawal of police escorts from VIPs. We have some kickers to that. directs minister to contact IGP, gets presidential clearance when necessary. Senators raise questions over directive. A major story on page 3. Yeah, we think because of the rate of insecurity, the crime rates and everything playing out in the country, we know the federal government still insists on withdrawing police escorts because we really need them to come out and fight the insecurity, because we know the federal government just wants all of these things going on in the country to come to an end real quick. And then he's making withdrawals of all of these police officers being attached to some very important persons. Well, you can still read that story up on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Let's take a look at some more stories still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Adeleke emerges Accord Party candidate for 2026 Osun Guba race. Interesting. Let's see if he wins that though. But you can still read that story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. After revision of the fourth quarter 2025 issuance calendar, CBN auctions 70 billion naira treasury bills. That business story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Analysts decry structural gaps in Nigeria's financial regulatory architecture on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Let's take a look at some more major stories still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. First commercial flight lands in Ekiti Airport. That's some sort of good news. Adebayo Fayose Fayemi Oni orders loads Oyebanji. Interesting story on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. A protesting truck drivers block Ogere for hours, causing gridlock on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And I don't know, but I still talk about all of this protest. If it's a peaceful protest, I see no reason why we have to go block roads. We should also consider the innocent people plying that roads. People want to hurry to their offices, some want to hurry to their place of businesses and all of that, and they get delayed. Just imagine you're protesting and somebody else is getting sacked for coming late to work. So I think we Nigerians really need to do better. When we want to have a peaceful protest, we should direct it to the right authorities and not going about blocking the road and affecting the other citizens just like you. But that story is still on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Alleged 2.4 billion naira fraud. Federal government arraigns ex-aviation minister Stella Odua. Okay, what's it with all of these aviation ministers? During the time of Alison Madueke, we still heard that the AFCC also arraigned her for some fraud. And now, what's up with these aviation ministers? Maybe some questions to this, some answers to these questions will be on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Heavy energy drink may pose serious stroke risks. Doctors warn. This is coming at the health section of the Nigerian Tribune, is a major one on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Insecurity crippling economy, discouraging investors. Can President laments? Yes, the Christian Association of Nigeria President laments of how the insecurity is crippling the economy and discouraging investors. Yes, and this is not even far from the truth. This is very correct, and that very story is on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Army kills Toji's top lieutenant Kalamu in Sokoto operation. Well, I think that's some sort of good news, telling us that we are some steps close to winning all of those battles against insecurity going on in the country, but it's a major one on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Let's see some more stories. Osun 2026. Tinubu meets APC governorship aspirants, and some kickers to that insist on party supremacy. Candidates may emerge through consensus. Omisori absent at meeting. As a major story on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Let's quickly take the picture of the day. Yeah, the picture of the day this morning on the Nigerian Tribune. We can see dignitaries all smiling and cutting cake to commemorate the commencement of commercial flight operation at the Ekiti Agro-Allied International Cargo Airport. Ado Ekiti on Wednesday. Yeah, I think this is a big win for the Ekiti state and its people. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Nigerian Tribune. Let's quickly take a look at this day. Let's see what this day has for us this morning. Yes, on this day, this morning, the lead story reads, President talks tough, says police must protect vulnerable, not the VIPs. Directs the NSA orders to enforce directive on withdrawal of police escorts from ministers and the VVIPs. That is the very, very important persons. Okay, now the president is saying they need to withdraw the police from the VIPs because they are meant to protect the vulnerable. As a major story you would want to read on page 9 of this day newspaper. Let's see if we take some more stories still on the front page of this day newspaper. Turaki meets 29 states chairman, declares PDP sets go and win Oshun. Tinubu charges APC aspirants. A major story on page 9 of this day newspaper. New tax laws. Zak Adedeji signs digital transformation deal with French tax authority. A major business story on page 5 of this day newspaper. Dangote refinery raises in-country petrol supply by 5.5 million liters daily amid 11.48 million deficits. Let's quickly take some riders to that. Nigeria records high PMS reserve vulnerability with only 17 days sufficiency. Fuel consumption falls by 3.8 million liters per day. A major story on page 9 of this day newspaper. Let's see if we take some more stories. We don't have any other story. Rather, we have a picture of the day, and that's the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding on areas of mutual interest in tax administration at the French Embassy in Abuja yesterday. Yeah, we can see the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Dr. Zak Adedeji, and the French ambassador to Nigeria during this signing of memorandum. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on this day newspaper. Let's quickly see what the Daily Trust has for us today. On the Daily Trust this morning, the lead story, banditry, news tightens around Toji, rather, a major one on page 3 and 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Northern Governors, a forum undertakes major reform, appoints first Director General. A major story on page 27 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Police withdrawal. Tinubu directs ministers to obtain clearance for escorts. You want to read that story on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. 2027, the factions heighten fear of single-party contest. Yeah, this is what I have been saying concerning all of the defections going on. We pray not to have a one-party. We pray not to operate a one-party system come 2027. But that story is still on page 26 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's take some more stories still on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. How family of 3 died in Lagos auto crash. A very disturbing story and disheartening story and sad story on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Rep summon Kadoso over unremitted 16.3 trillion naira. A major one on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. EFCC compiles charges against Malami. You want to read that story on page 5. 32 Nigerians deported from India. A major one on page 31 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And let's see what we have as a picture of the day. Yeah, that's just a cartoon illustration of the lead story. Banditry news tightens around Toji. This is saying how close the Nigerian army they're so close in getting this banditry leader. His name is Toji, knowing the fact that they have apprehended his lieutenants. Well, that's all we're taking today on the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's quickly take a look at The Nation this morning. The lead story on The Nation says, Tinubu directs payments of 1.5 trillion naira debts to local contractors. Interministerial panel to fix payments delay. More patronage for indigenous firms. A major one on page 4 of The Nation newspaper. A federal government, state partners unite to tackle rot in education. Yeah, it's a major one on page 15 of the Nation newspaper. Let's take a look at some more leading stories, even at the top mass of the Nation newspaper. Military Tantita joined forces against oil thieves in Ondo State. A major one on page 5, Makinde OK's 55 billion naira for road construction and rehabilitation. You want to read that story up on page 8 of the Nation newspaper. Only competition will drive down airfares. This is coming from Keyamo on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Ewudapo Dixon set to jump PDP. A deputy governor eyes the receipts. A major story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And let's take some more stories still on the front page of the Nation this morning. Oyebanji set to become Osun APC consensus candidates. Yeah, you can get that very story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. 11 officers on board Nigerian Air Force jet freed in Burkina Faso. ECOWAS ministers says no room for coup. That very story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Release reports of my husband's autopsy. Ex-governorship candidates widows cries out on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. Let's quickly take the picture of the day this morning. Yeah, that's still talking about the launching of the first commercial flight in Ado Ekiti yesterday. So that's all we're taking this morning on the Nation newspaper, and that's all we're taking on all the papers. You know, if you find any of these papers or any of the headlines interesting, do well to grab yourself a copy of any of the paper. But right now we have to quickly go on a break, and once we return, the dialogue will be next on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man. But correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Held in Lagos yesterday, Tuesday, 9th of December, has thrown their weights behind the call for state police and death penalty for kidnappers as a way of addressing the multifaceted security challenges in the country. The summit, which was held, or rather, which was made towards a limited front against insecurity, held in a major key resolution, which they feel its follow-through would indeed have far-reaching resolutions to deal with the present security bedeviling the country. One of such was an audacious proposal put forward that the federal government should immediately commence the building of a protective fence and wall along the borders with Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and Benin Republic. Another major one is that the federal government should, as a thing of urgency, allow assistance from any foreign intervention that will help Nigeria to crush the kidnappers, bandits, and terrorists ravaging the country, provided the terms are clear and Nigerian sovereignty and of rules of engagement are being respected. Now, with these resolutions, there is a feeling that the country will return to an era of peace and stability. But the major question on dialogue is, will such resolution truly help to change the narrative? And will the federal government align to such reaching resolution? Well, these and more as it concerns dealing with the insecurity in the land is what this edition of Dialogue is all about. And that is addressing insecurity in the country. And that's what we're looking at as a major discourse today on the show. We're looking at addressing the growing insecurity in the country, especially looking at that very summit that was held yesterday in the Southwest, when major governors and critical stakeholders had that brief understanding when a whole lot of resolutions were put forward to see if, and I mean if implemented, then there would indeed be a change of narrative in the country. But anyway, we're not in the Southwest, but rather right here in the Niger Delta and in the northern, but Atlantic TV, beautiful headquarters, studios. And we have a guest that will be helping us look at it, and we have no other person but Mr. Austin Wuseba, JP. Now, good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Now, honestly, when we monitored the meeting yesterday, it was indeed an enlarged security summit meeting yesterday that had far-reaching resolutions as it concerns dealing with the insecurity. But before we indeed look at those resolutions and see if really it will help us change the narrative as it concerns insecurity in the country, I'm now being a bit forced to ask or curious to ask, how did we get here? Yes, it's a question. How did we degenerate to this level that we're now having meetings back and forth, trying to see how we can resolve issues, having foreign nationals or countries coming to the shores of this land to help us see how they can strengthen our security architecture? So my question, is it a lack of political will that has brought us here, or other major issues put together that have made insecurity more of a problem to us now than ever before?
Michael, thank you. You know, one of the, like you rightly said, how did we get to this
place of insecurity? There's
been conversation around good governance.
Okay.
There's been conversation raised around good governance, accountability, job creation, wealth creation, education. Okay. These have been conversations that have been ongoing. And the government seems to have kept a deaf ears. Mute to these conversations. We, as a government, when conversations are being raised on accountability, good governance, and all that, and we seems not to care, things will deteriorate to this level. No employment for our youths.
Okay.
There's absolutely so much poverty in our land. Look at our GDP. Even before our minimum wage was increased from the 30,000 to 70, you find out that people were poorly paid. Workers were poorly paid in our climate, Nigeria. It's a sad thing that a parent will train a child from the primary, secondary, to the university, tertiary level. The child comes out of this institution, there are no jobs. Industries were winding down in our country. In the Kaduna, you used to have textile, you have to have Peugeot, fan. You know, there were so many industries that were winding up in Michelin in our clime. Come to our, like we say, let's leave the south or other region, come to our south, our Delta, Niger Delta. We have DSC winding up, NNPC, they're not doing anything. Shell packed out of the Delta state. The oil companies that used to be a kind of bring succor to our people.
More of a
lifeline. No, nothing to talk about. The MPA in Warri is not functioning. So when there are no jobs in the land, people seem to look for alternative means to survive.
So you mean it was an issue of deaf ear being paid to some of these narrative that was put forward? had brought us now to this heightened insecurity that we're now facing?
That is
bad governance.
Bad governance.
Okay, well, anyway, as much as you've made that clear and we've put that on the table, it is only necessary that we tend to really look at some of the far-reaching resolutions that many are beginning to kick around, especially in the Southwest, trying to see how these resolutions can indeed help us resolve the issues. And I want us to now look at the resolutions because of time. Now, one of the major resolutions that was put forward yesterday was the issue of state police, which has been on the front burner for a couple of years now due to insecurity. And if we look at our statistics of federal police at the moment, we have between 370,000 to 371,800 police personnel. Which, if you now translate it to how it is in manning Nigerians, you are talking of one police officer to 600 citizens, which is far below the United Nations average of one police officer to 450 civilians. So my question, do you see state police, apart from just helping to show up the numbers of having the required police, but do you see them as indeed what we truly need to help us change the narrative as it concerns under policing and having enough police to deal with the insecurity within the country?
Mike, the conversation surrounding state police has been on the front burner.
Yeah, for a pretty long time now.
Fine, there've been argument for and against.
Most certainly.
On state police, as it is. They have the school of thoughts that we argue that our governors we hijack it and use them as
ready tools
against their political opponents. That is one school of thought, one aspect of it. Then also there is the merit of this conversation, of this argument. Whereby if we have state police, we know our environment. You understand?
Yes.
And again, it will increase the number of policing as relates to the United Nations policing issue.
Yeah.
When we engage our locals to recruit them into state police, well, you are not going to bring people from another state as your state police.
But there's I do understand, but there's every evidence that we are under policed.
Of course, there's evidence that we're under police.
Okay. Let's take that clear.
You see the IG saying we are withdrawing VIP guards back to base so that they can be deployed for protection of citizens. There's an argument, sir, that you see, when we secure our environment, there will be no need for you to carry private security guards or police escorts. Because protection is for every citizen. It's not just for VIPs. Let's secure our place. Let's provide adequate security. You know that, there are sometimes you travel to outside the shores of Nigeria. You can take a walk at night. But today, in our local or in our community here, it's difficult to take a walk for fear of criminality, bandits, armed robbers, pocket pickers, and all that. You don't know what will happen to you. I travel abroad. I take public transportation. But here, I'm afraid to take public transport. We hear so many stories of people things being stolen from keke, hijacked from our local transport. So there is no internal security, adequate internal security. We must provide security for every Nigerian, every Delta, and every citizen. Once we are secure, what's the need for you to get police escort? You can decide to take a walk from your neighborhood to a supermarket to wherever. But when we are not properly secured, then there is a problem. Then, like we're saying, the IG was calling for withdrawal of VIA police. If you want to, security is expensive, Michael. If you want to secure yourself personally, if you feel you are a VIP, you want to secure yourself. Me, I'm the advocate that let us begin private security organizations who will carry arms. So those VIPs that want security, we pay heavily for that. Once they are we have licensed organizations that carry arms and they have trained security guards. Let VIP patronize them so that our police will be enough for us.
Okay, because Mr. President talked about having an NSCDC officials helping to protect VIPs. But let's leave that for now and come back to the issue of state police.
Yeah.
Do you see it happening anytime soon?
Michael, just recently, the North, they met, and one of their resolution was that state policing should be encouraged.
And for them, it looks as if they were the ones holding every other.
They were holding every other person out before, but now they've seen, because there's the what is happening today in the North. One, it will discourage investors.
Okay.
You know,
that you're talking about the heightened insecurity.
The heightened insecurity. You won't want to put your money where there is insecurity. You want to invest in an environment that is secured. So the leadership in the North are beginning to understand that, what is happening in the North today, it is sending a wrong signal. Okay. Michael, first, within us in Nigeria here, you wouldn't want your child to go to the North for NYC.
Yeah.
Gone are the days where children, you travel as freely as it used to be. It's not like that again in Nigeria. Yeah. Interstate travel is something that is going into extinction because nobody wants to hit the road where there's crime. I had a pastor, Dunamis church in Abuja. On one of the social media platforms, in his message to his congregants, he was saying that if there's no reason for you to travel for this Christmas to your state, please don't go because of insecurity. Normally, traditionally, we see our people, they travel from the north to the east, to the south, to the west.
During this festival
period to facilitate with their families. You understand? But the consideration of insecurity in our climate is making people to shelve that
unnecessary
travel. So it's not good for us. And it's not good for business.
Okay, well, anyway, if you feel that will definitely increase us being secured, I want us to look at another major resolution that was taken yesterday.
Yeah.
And finally, or rather, they put their weight behind the death penalty for those that kidnap. But we do know that our federal law, like the Terrorism Prevention Act, as amended, is life imprisonment for anybody that in every way restrict your movement, detain your movement, or threaten you. It is life imprisonment.
Yeah.
But they feel it's far too less and has not deterred the numbers of kidnapping we've had. So my question, do you feel a death penalty will change the narrative rather than having it life sentence, but death penalty will make some of these persons have a rethink before really committing that crime?
I am also in support of reviewing our laws.
Okay.
And, with what is happening presently, death penalty seems to be also a way whereby we can, how do I put it, we can deter criminality. It should be included, it should be reviewed and included in our penal codes. Again, I also feel that we should strengthen security.
Okay.
Our security agencies should be properly strengthened, trained, equipped for the modern day challenges. Okay. You understand? Because if we ask, are there challenges? There are. There are challenges. So we're in the 21st century, whereby technology is the main thing. With the AI revolution, with the advancement in internet and all that, you know, there's a need for us to strengthen our security apparatus.
Okay.
Train them, equip them, deploy them, properly pay them. You know, with all this put in place and with what the National Assembly is doing, with all this conversation around, including death penalty into our penal code as a means to deter criminality or reduce criminality, it's good.
Okay. Okay, now, in case you're joining us, yes, it's Dialogue on Atlantic TV, Viewpoint it is. And today we're looking at some of the far-reaching resolution that we got from the South West Security Critical Meeting that had major critical stakeholders having that very summit. And major resolutions were put forward, some of the resolutions which are already in the public space as it concerns discussion around it. But some other major ones that is coming on board, especially as it concerns the resolution. And one I want us to now look at is the issue of that very call. They called on the federal government to ascertain of importance, help build wall, border wall between Nigeria and Niger, Nigeria and Chad, Nigeria and Cameroon, and Nigeria and Benin. And all of this audacious plan is put forward because of our lack of securing ourselves. We have a very major porous border. If you look at all our entry points, we on Dialogue, we always do our research. We have about 1,400 illegal routes. And out of these 1,400 illegal routes that some of these criminals use in accessing Nigeria, we have only 84 where we have official entry points, which puts us at 95% on secured or manned entry points into the country, which is a large one. Now, my question is a 2 points.
Okay.
My first question is this audacious plan going to really deter most of these persons from coming into the country? That's number one. And number two, should we say our lack of having a secure border has in every way contributed immensely in the growth of insecurity in the country?
Okay. Michael, I will take your first question. If building a wall around our borders,
yes, would in any way help
out. One, you know, is our border, our borders porous? Yes.
Okay.
You understand? Let's focus. Are our borders porous?
Yes.
Yes, they are porous. And through these corridors, illegal arms, short arms, they flow into our country. Persons flow into our country. Yeah. We don't have a current data of Nigerians. So when foreigners mingle among us, we don't even know them. When foreigners come into our clime, because there's no identification, we have identity problem, we have data collection problem. So people can easily come in through these porous
entry points
and mingle freely among Nigerians. And the way people come in, that is our arms, light arms and major arms come into our country. So, to build a wall around, if it will help, it will help. It will stem the inflow of migrants coming into Nigeria. Likewise, to some extent, stem the inflow of light arms and weapons into the country. So, it's a good one. Michael, you see, when President Trump of the United States came in his first tenure, he said, let us build a wall around our borders.
Especially between Mexico.
Apart from stopping immigrants from entering America freely, to stem the drug inflow into the United States. It seems laughable then, but when you come to think about it, it was doing the right thing. So bringing it to Nigeria is a welcome development.
Okay, well, anyway, if you feel that audacious plan is a welcome development that we need to do, my next question, you brought out the issue of Trump and his plan of putting a wall between himself and Mexico. One of the reasons that plan did not fall through, or one of the reasons that...
It fall through, it's going on. No?
Yes, I do understand.
The person is on.
One of the teething problem there was the cost, which he said he would translate the cost to Mexico.
To Mexico, yeah.
Now, that's where my question is
okay.
now. The problem is, can we truly fund a wall on our borders between we and Niger, we and Chad, we and Cameroon, when we have little or nothing to go by? And the reason I'm asking this, as of present, we are a debt of 152 trillion naira, which is approximately 100 billion United States dollars in debt. So my question, do we even have the fund to erect such walls? Or are we, just like Trump did, going to tax our neighbors that are already having major issues with to help us fund that? Because in every way, we are not just protecting ourselves, we're also protecting them. So will it make any sense if we go through this audacious plan on our own?
Michael.
And do we have the fund for it?
Michael,
it's a question.
When you have a challenge, you have to go to the drawing board. Even in your immediate family. If you are confronted with a challenge, except you want to open your eyes and let the challenges consume you. If you are confronted with any challenge, you go back to your drawing board and make plans, budgets. Is this particular fund necessary for now? No. Do we channel this fund to this to secure ourselves? Yes. I read somewhere, Mike, where somebody was saying, instead of the what is this road they call it, the road from Lagos to Calabar, that the Ministry of Works and the President they are doing. Why don't we abandon that and face fencing?
Coastal road.
The coastal road here, the coastal road. Why don't we abandon the coastal road and face the fencing of our borders?
Okay.
That is one. Then, you know, we have so many leakages. You know, I think the other time we spoke about the central bank saying certain funds were not remitted. You understand? Let's block leakages. Those gaps, when you put a block to such gaps where, you know, when we are talking about fighting corruption is one of the major players in Nigeria, let's block those gaps. There will be funds recovered for such projects. And we now come back to our drawing board and say, you know, the money we spend in purchasing arms, once we see that inflows of illegal ammunition are coming into Nigeria, some of this money can also go into this fencing, which will stem the purchase of certain equipments. So we must come back home and look at ourselves. How do we generate this fund? Mind you, the northern leaders that met in Kaduna just recently, they fashioned how to raise fund for the security trust fund that was set up across the states. So that also can be done as to fence our border. Put proper documentation for citizens in place. If it means carrying an ID card, because as it is now, it is frightening. It is terribly frightening to travel from one point to another point in Nigeria. If you are current with recent happening in Asaba, a judge was killed in a house. A retired justice was killed in a house by our own security guard, according to the investigation going on. Who are the people securing most of us? Boys coming from from the north. How are we sure some of them are Nigerians? They are all in our neighborhoods, in our houses. I have in my own house. We change them now and often and off every time or the other. How are we sure some of them are Nigerians? You understand? So these are challenges confronting us that need urgent solutions.
Okay, well, anyway, as much as you feel that will also help, I want us to look at some other also in major resolutions.
Okay.
And one I want us to look at is one that has been in the front burner in very recent time.
Okay.
And is the issue of having foreign assistance. Just yesterday, we do know that or day before yesterday, some critical stakeholders arrived in Nigeria from the United States of America and had a major security meeting with the National Security Advisor, Nuru Rubadu.
Yeah.
And, well, we have been hearing some major teaching points or talking point of that very meeting. Now, just like I said yesterday, during that very summit, they told the federal government of Nigeria to indeed, as a thing of urgency, allow foreign assistance as in form of security assistance in any dimension, be it via technology, be it via information gathering. They requested for such. So my next question is, this has been the front burner for a while. Should we seek U.S. assistance? Should U.S. come take action or not? And let's look at the issue of foreign interference and foreign help coming in. Is it a way to go?
Mike, you see, I would say that Nigeria is at war internally. You know, this is a war situation. As powerful and as wealthy as Russia is,
Yeah.
when they are fighting with Ukraine, they seek foreign assistance.
Yeah.
Putin
has been traveling around.
They want
North Korea, Iran,
North Korea, China. You know, there's no country that is confronted with a war situation that will not need help. The sophistication of the weapons, the bandits, and the Boko Haram sets they carry. You know, sometimes from information we hear, they are more sophisticated than the weapons that most of our soldiers
are using.
Fine. Most times, the security people, when I mean the security people, are military, DSS, and whatever, they might not divulge some of the informations at their disposal because the security situation. You understand? So, to call for foreign assistance, yes, we need to call for foreign assistance now because it's a dire situation. It's a dire situation where citizens are being slaughtered
on a daily basis.
On a daily basis, you hear kidnap and all that. They go to schools, kidnap children. How they kidnap over 100 and something children is, you know what I'm saying?
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. How can we also carry that number of children? How did they carry them? Which route did they take? You understand? So, we have come to a situation where it has overwhelmed us. So, we need foreign assistance. Sharing of information, information gathering. You understand? Use of modern technological equipment to confront these criminals.
Yeah.
So, your question that do we need foreign assistance? Yes, we need.
You just stated the obvious. You feel we need foreign assistance. But there's this question of sovereignty. Just recently, there was a coup d'etat in Benin, which Nigeria participated in bringing or resolving it. But also, we also have a problem now with Burkina Faso when one of our jets were impounded and some officers or military personnel also held. Now, we're talking about the issue of sovereignty, which is critical in any country. Now, if we allow countries like the United States to come and have a free flow in dealing with the issues of insecurity, the question of sovereignty still comes. Would it not indeed affect our sovereignty?
No, Michael, let me see. When we're talking about
yes.
the issue of sovereignty,
yes,
this is not an
which
invasion.
is a teething problem.
This is not an invasion.
Okay.
You're not invading your country.
Okay.
You understand? What we're saying is we are requesting
for their assistance.
So it's
like just like what Benin requested
yes.
for our assistance.
So it will pass through diplomatic channel and legal channels.
Okay.
You understand? Then we come to the issue of our foreign policy.
Yeah.
What is our foreign policy as it relates to seeking for foreign assistance with regards to fighting insecurity? So this is America is not coming to invade us, or we are not any other Western nation is coming to invade us. We are overwhelmed with the challenges in our climate. We are now seeking for foreign assistance. So there must be engagement between both countries. So when there are engagement between both countries, every legal documents, everything that has to be signed will be signed. So there will be treaties signed up between both countries. So the issue of sovereignty does not come in.
Because what the United States President Donald Trump said was he will come into the country blazing and firing, and it's going to be swift, quick, but deadly.
Our president, we will give it to President Tinubu after the President Trump issued those threats. You know, if you find that our president did not say anything, he has not officially responded to Trump. Yeah. Rather, he went back to his drawing board and started working.
Okay.
You understand? Well, you see that he set up some committees to interface with the United States.
Being led by the NSA.
Being led by the NSA. They've traveled to the United States. The United States members of Congress members just came into Nigeria just recently. So there's engagement between both,
which is needed.
Which is needed.
And critical in dealing with it.
As that we are saying now is very critical and urgent. The situation, you see, just yesterday at the National Assembly, senators raised the issue of the increase in air travel.
Yes.
They were saying the cost has increased, local flights,
of course,
has increased by 400%. A lot of Nigerians no longer have trust in our road transport system because of the insecurity.
Yes,
bedeviling our roads. So everybody is using the air, and the transport is expensive. The Minister of Aviation
has been summoned.
And all the stakeholders in the aviation industry. What is raising these issues is insecurity bedeviling us. Michael, you see, there was a time my child wanted to. After secondary school, she was like, Daddy, I want to study aviation. Or an aviation school in Zaria, Kaduna State.
Kaduna to be precise.
And as at that time, there was an attack on the ND, the Nigeria Defense Academy
itself.
There was an attack on the Nigeria Defense Academy. I looked at my wife and we discussed it. Can we send our daughter, our child, to the north in Kaduna, since she's schooling, and go to sleep?
It's not possible.
It's not possible. Because of that reason, we denied that child that opportunity. And even going abroad was very expensive. So now, if you have a child, let's say in Kaduna or Abuja, would you, as a father, put your child in a transport bus or vehicle from that place to Delta or Edo State? with what we are hearing and seeing. So these things call for action. There is a call for action. Immediate action. The president aborted the G20 summit in South Africa and sent his vice because he wants to be in charge of the situation.
Okay.
It's not a time for jamboree. This is a time that we must find every means possible to secure our country in addressing the security situation.
Now, you talked about the president taking critical steps, and one of the steps he took, undermining it is now coming to our feelers, is the issue of changing the defense minister. And when I mean into our feelers, it was said that Badaru resigned, but we now also learned that he was pressured to resign. And the coming of the new defense minister, former CDS, Christopher Musa. Now, I want us to look at that. Has his coming changed the narrative? In your own assessment, would he do a better job in dealing with this growing insecurity?
Michael, you know,
knowing that he was the former CDS.
Call it resign due to due health or pressure to resign. You know, these are times that we must take critical actions.
Yeah.
I recall that during his screening at the National Assembly of the Senate, one of the issues, he issued there was a statement that I like that he made. Told the officers that have been deployed to various formations. Some said they are waiting for last order. I said, which last order are you waiting for? Shoot, kill before you are being killed. From the moment you are deployed, you have been given order to protect yourself and protect our country. So there's nothing like you are waiting for an order again to come. Before now, we have not had such explanations. Yes, sir. These are coming into light. And mind you, if you go through the resume of General Musa and his antecedents, you find out that he is a result-oriented fellow.
A result-oriented fellow?
Yes. So, these times need critical action. Practical. There's no time for theory.
So do you say he's the man for the job?
They've engaged him. You understand? Let's see how we handle the situation on ground. And mind you, Musa has also mentioned fencing of our borders. General Musa has mentioned fencing of our border as a means to curb insecurity and inflow of illegal migrants and inflow of light weapons coming into our country. So you know that he's a man ready for the job. Vis-a-vis seeking for international help, cooperation, as we might call it, so that we nip this issue that is bothering us now.
Okay, now still talking about doing this, I know if you're just joining us, you've missed a great deal. We're almost out of time talking about dealing with the present insecurity and looking at some major critical resolutions that were held, or rather put forward from that very meeting that was held yesterday in the Southwest, where not just governors, but traditional rulers and also other critical stakeholders as it concerns security all gathered and at the end came out with those resolutions. Well, anyway, they talked about the issue of death penalty for kidnapping with that of state police, and also highlighted a need to fence our borders, which has over the years been so porous that many persons feel even after chasing these bandits to a certain place, they always tend to cross over into the other countries. And indeed, you do know we can't go after them, knowing about issue of sovereignty. And that's what we've had, and the resolution we've been looking at since, like you do know, we still have no other person but Mr. Austin Wuseva, JP. Now, I know time is not a friend. My PD is already letting me know that we're almost out of time. But anyway, we still have a few time to talk about this, and that's where I want us to go. I would have loved us to talk about something that is happening now as it concerns Delta and the insecurity. But I want us to leave that, but look at Joe. Yes, the Delta State government recently, because that's where we are.
Yeah.
If we do not come home, then what benefit?
We must come home here.
Now, the Delta State government, just in October, launched a security trust fund.
Yeah.
One that they felt would indeed also help us secure our borders, our entry point, and not only that, but deal with the growing insecurity within our different metropolises. Now, I want us to look at that. We are in this festive period. Many will say the most heightened time, especially as it concerns security in the South, is during this period. But let's look at it. What do you feel the Delta State government needs to do as it concerns dealing with insecurity in the state? And we've had little or almost nothing from the trust fund since it's launched. So, but what for your own assessment needs to be done to help us also better secure ourselves rather than waiting for the federal government to do so?
Yeah, Michael, like I've mentioned here before.
Yes.
You know, as it relates to Delta State,
yeah,
and with the security trust fund that was recently launched. You know, I've said before now that strengthen the security apparatus.
Okay. Should strengthen it.
Strengthen them. Train.
In how? Okay. In what way?
Train.
Okay.
Equip.
Okay.
Deploy.
Okay.
Better equip them. And I'm also advocate for proper payment.
Proper payment.
Salary payment.
Okay, as of when due?
Yes, as of when due. You understand? Then, again, engage community leaders.
Okay.
As a means of securing our place. That's the engagement.
Okay.
Then, we must address the issue of poverty in our states. We must address the issue of poverty. You see, if the Delta State government look into this issue of addressing poverty, to some extent, it will stem criminality. Then engage community leaders, stakeholders on how best we can handle the issue of insecurity in our state, not in the country.
Okay, in our state, sorry.
Not just for this season of this Yuletide season, but going forward.
Okay.
You understand? So when you equip our security apparatus, engage community stakeholders, have conversations with them, traditional rulers should come in. Information sharing, gathering and sharing is very important. If you see something, say something. It should be channels at which we can share information. And we also put in apparatus in place that those who share information should be protected.
Okay.
So people will be willing to share informations, because we have seen situations where people share informations and the people they share information about knows who shared the information about them. That is not a good thing at all.
Okay.
So there should be protection for those sharing informations. We must put a mechanism in place for that. Very important. How to share information. So Deltans will now know that if you see something, say something. If you see somebody that is strange, a new face in your area, share the information. And because another major thing is as regards the equipping.
Yeah.
You understand? And training. Our response system should be swift.
Okay.
Once there's an issue of
a distress call.
If there's a distress call, we must make it such a way that within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, there's response.
Okay.
And this response comes with the police, the medical team. We form this crop of thing. Let me digress a little. If you go to the international circle, like you travel abroad, some people will argue that there's crime in the US, there's crime in the UK. Fine, there's crime. But Michael, if you shoot a gun in the UK, you are sure that you'll be caught. They will come with everything to chase after you. Horse, vehicles, bike, plane, helicopters.
If need be.
They will come with every instrument to look for you. So, if our response system is swift, somebody that is planning crime, at the back of his mind, he will know that if I'm going on this mission, I will die. To some extent, it will deter them from embarking on such journeys. When you know that you are not coming back alive on the particular journey you are going to, I tell you, it will reduce people who want to take such risk, because taking your loot home and enjoying your loot encourages crime.
More of it.
Oh, so if I go into this particular kidnapping or whatever, and I get money from it, I can enjoy my loot. Others want to follow suit.
Yeah, of course.
But once they know, and it becomes a thing that in Delta State, if you go for any form of criminality, the security agency will chase after you and catch you, and you cannot escape the arms of the law. Man, it will, to a long extent, reduce crime in our state.
Well, anyways, what better way to top it up rather than seeking an advice, or rather helping to see what direction we need to take as a people, especially in Delta State, the big heart, to deal with the issue of insecurity. But you know, talking about insecurity is a topic that seems to be endless.
It's inexhaustive. We continue to raise the conversation.
Come on, because
as you raise the conversation, you profess solutions
to follow, which I enjoyed, or rather we've enjoyed in your own analysis and giving us that really solution.
Thank you.
But I feel the best thing for us to do now is to truly thank you and appreciate you.
Welcome,
your busy schedule, you still had that time to come and talk about something that's critical to all of us, and that is the issue of insecurity. I will really say we appreciate you. I was talking of no other person but Mr. Austin Wuseba, JP, for really coming through and doing this with us. We truly appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And you know, we always will leave a twist.
Yes.
We'll definitely be looking
I always find my time to come
to talk about really critical issues.
In our buffet.
Well, thank you so much. Well, anyway, it's more like a wrap on the show today. You do know that it really never ends here. I will always advise you that if you have comment, contributions, and reactions, please do send them to our different social media platforms. They're already there on your screen. Let's get the conversation going. Let's understand what needs to be done. All these resolutions being put forward by the Southwest critical stakeholders just yesterday, would they in every way, if aligned by this government or if being put through by this government, would they in every way help, if not totally eradicate, but indeed curb the growing insecurity that seems to be facing us, or rather be deviling this great country? And indeed, an embarrassing one to us, knowing that other countries are beginning to put an travel advisory, especially as it concerns coming to Nigeria. Well, all of that is what we'd like to get. Remember, your comments and reactions are really, really appreciative of us, and we always enjoy so. But what we'll do now is go on a break, and you do know the news will come around the hour, and when it comes to trending, come on, Messi has a whole lot. Let's go on a break.